When you think of an everyday makeup bag or an everyday makeup kit, what are the products that you think of? Some people's idea of a basic makeup kit is a little different than others. So today I'm going to show you what I recommend for an everyday makeup bag or an everyday makeup kit. These are affordable, tried and true products that I continuously repurchase that work on my over 50 dry combo skin. So if you are just dipping your toes into the makeup world, if you are a makeup minimalist, or you just want some good recommendations, then stick around. Hi, I'm Andi. Welcome or welcome back. I'm really happy that you're here. This is my monthly collab with Leanna Dalton. We're both very excited to bring you some great recommendations for products that we use every day. So I'm going to bring you a little bit closer, and I'm going to show you all of the products I'm using, how I use them, and also some good recommendations for some affordable brushes. So sit tight and don't go anywhere. First and foremost, you want to start out with hydrated skin. If your skin is dehydrated, your makeup is not going to look good. You can still have dehydrated skin if your skin is normally oily. So just make sure you have a lot of moisture in your skin. Your makeup will look so much better. Normally I do my eyes first, but for this video, I'm going to do my face first. And we're going to start with a primer. As you can see, I'm hoping that I can get something out of this. This is the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer. This one is the one with the niacinamide. If I can get skincare properties in my makeup, I'm all about it. So I'm going to try to get as much out as I can, and I think that is it. That is about all I'm going to get out today. I do like a gripping primer. It gives you a tacky base, and it's going to make your makeup adhere a little bit better. And this is all personal preference on what kind of primer you like. I'm going to try to get a little bit more out. Oh, I did. Some people are not gripping primer people. This is my only gripping primer that I have. I still haven't completely decided if that is a primer that I need in my hoard. But I do love the way my makeup sits on top of it. I always follow up with a blurring primer, and that is the e.l.f. Liquid Putty Primer. This is one of my favorites. I don't have a backup of this. I have so many primers that I need to get through. Oh my gosh, I'm almost out of this one too. And I mostly just concentrate on the middle of my face, like this area here, because that is where I need my blur. Oh my gosh, you guys, it's almost gone. What the heck? I'm just finishing everything today. So this is going in the center of my face. My pores are the largest: forehead, nose, chin, and then right beside my nose. Do you need to layer your primers? No, I do. I do love to layer my primers. If you just need a pore blurring primer, something that's going to blur your pores every time, the Revolution Pore Blur, one of my holy grails, will not be without it. This one's almost gone also, but I do have a backup already. I just put this beside my nose where it needs a little bit of extra help, and on my nose. I have a very large pore beside my nose that I have had for years. And so I just kind of spackle it. It's like spackle. You guys, it's like spackle. Do you need all three of those primers in your basic makeup bag? No, you only need one primer. But I was just demonstrating what they do. And I do like to layer. I do like to layer primers. Now, as you can see, I don't have a lot of dark circles under my eyes, so I really don't need a concealer under my eyes. Sometimes I will just dot a little bit. But if you are looking for a really great concealer, I have two favorites. One is the NYX Bear With Me concealer. It is great for mature under eyes. I have lines and wrinkles under my eyes. This did not accentuate that. The other is the Maybelline Age Rewind Eraser Concealer. I love both of these. I do not love this delivery system. There is a sponge that goes on the end of this. What I did with that is I put it in a dough foot. I put it in a container that had a dough foot. This is a pump. So I liked that. I would put it out on my little palette here. The Maybelline Age Rewind Concealer Eraser that I use is the shade 160, and it is pink. I do have yellowing, like sallow skin under my eyes. So the pink will combat that yellow a little bit. And I just put a little bit under there. And I just dot a little bit, and then I blend it out with a brush. Those are two of my favorite concealers that I've ever used, especially as I've gotten older and I have more texture underneath my eyes. And I just blend that out. Now for my little dark spot over here, I have been using the AOA Studios Top Secret Concealer. Shop Miss A. It's $1 and it works really well. I just put it on a brush like this and just dot it over. It doesn't completely cover, but it does help to blend it away a little bit. I have not found anything to cover it. I've said this multiple times, but it's true. $1. I love this. I've never tried it under my eyes. I have tried it as an eyeshadow primer, and I do like it that way, but I mostly use it to cover. I'm also going to use it to cover that little thing there and this little thing here, which my eyeshadow primer will cover that up there, but I think they're bites. I think they're bites, but I don't know what kind of bites they are. They don't seem to be pimples, so I don't know what they are. They just showed up one day. It might have been one of the concealers I was using, and I no longer use that concealer because they happened around the same time. Coincidence? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. And then I take my dampened beauty blender. I do like to do this before I do my foundation, but if I wear concealer, and like an actual concealer under my eyes, I always do that after I put my foundation on. I should say it's like a mid-step. Now I'm going in with my foundation. This is the e.l.f. Camo CC Cream. This is a favorite. I have been using this for years. I have dry skin. In the summer, it's more combination, and I love a medium to full coverage. If you don't like a medium to full coverage, I will recommend the Lumi Le Glow Tint. This is a skin tint. This is a glow product, so it does give you a little bit of glow. Otherwise, you can do a tinted moisturizer or a serum foundation. Those tend to be a little bit thinner, not as full coverage. But if you do have that foundation in your collection, in the background, that's not getting any love because you don't like that it's a full coverage or a medium to full coverage foundation, mix a little bit of your moisturizer in with it. Just get a little palette, soap dish from the Dollar Tree, anything like that, and mix those together. That will sheer out your foundation a little bit to make it work for you. No need to waste money and get rid of a product that still has some use in it. And then also, a side note, if you have foundations that are too warm for you, then I do recommend this LA Girl Mixing Pigment. It is such a great product. It does not change the formula of your foundation. And I use this quite often because this is my perfect shade, but not my perfect tone. This is a W. This is 280W. I wish they had a 280C. They do not. The cooler tones of this are too light or too dark. So I buy this and then I color correct it. So there's too much warmth in this, so I'm going to add the blue. Also, if you have a foundation that is too dark for you and you don't have a lighter foundation to mix, I mix foundations all the time. But I do love the LA Girl Mixing Pigment in the white. It, again, does not change the formula of the foundation, but it will lighten it up nicely to make it work for you. That's why I recommend some kind of a little palette to mix your things on. Game changer. So I'm going to put a pump of this and a pump of this. And then I just mix them together. And what that does is just cool it down to where it works for me. For the longest time, I had the worst luck matching foundation for myself. even in store. I would think it was a good match. I would take it home, and it isn't. So I usually have a lighter foundation to mix in with, or something like this works very, very well. e.l.f. also makes a mixing pigment. I don't love this as much as I love this. And there's, as you can see, there's way more in this than there is this. But this is a doe foot. I have used quite a bit of it. This is a doe foot. And just getting it out onto my little palette here is kind of a pain. And I'm not here for it. So I'm going in with my damp sponge, which is another way to sheer out a foundation. Applying a foundation with a brush will give you more coverage. It's not as sheared out, but I like applying with a sponge, a damp sponge. I do wash my sponge every day. I use my Sephora Deep Cleanse Brush and Sponge shampoo, and I wash my sponge. You could also just use a cleanser. I just don't want to waste cleanser. It's not really wasting, but I don't want to use cleanser for this. So I just do a light layer of my foundation and then bring it down the neck a little bit so it's blended. My foundation color is darker than my face because my chest and my neck are darker. So it ends up matching. Some other foundations, BB cream, skin tints that I recommend. The Maybelline BB, I think it's called Dream Fresh. I think that's what it's called. I'll put pictures of the things that I do recommend. That is a nice light to medium coverage. It is buildable. So if you like a little bit more of a coverage, but you like a BB cream, I do recommend that. It is a very nice product. Also a foundation that I really like is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Dewy. I don't care for the matte, but like I said, I have dry skin. If you have more of an oily complexion, then try it out. It does smell like paint. If you can get past the smell, then I do recommend it. I think it is a beautiful foundation. I said I don't want to buy any more foundations until I use up, I finish some of the ones I have, and then I went and bought 7. So within the last year. So there goes that. And then I go in with my spray. I use my spray 2 or 3 times during my makeup process. This is the ColourPop Pretty Fresh. This is the Lock It In setting spray, and it has peptides and niacinamide in it. This is my first time buying this, and I will definitely repurchase this. I love the sprayer on this, and I love how it makes my makeup stay. Go in with my sponge again and press that in to my foundation. A good setting spray for me is very important. It locks your makeup in, it keeps your skin hydrated, and it melts everything together. Now, whether you are a cream product person or a powder product person, I'm going to do cream on one side and powder on the other as far as my bronzer and my blush. I personally use both cream and powder, but for a basic makeup bag, you can choose either or. I do recommend cream products for people with mature skin, dry skin. In the wintertime when my skin is a little bit more dry, then sometimes a powder bronzer, a powder blush will make my face look even more dry. This is the e.l.f. Putty Bronzer. This is in the shade Golden Days. I did repackage all of my putty blushes and bronzers into these tins. I got them on Amazon. I just feel like it's more user-friendly. You can get your brush into it. So just go in with my brush and add some color cream bronzer to this side of my face. This will get blended out. I am a little heavy. I'm a little heavy-handed with my cream products, if I'm being honest. Then I'm going to go in with the e.l.f. Monochromatic Multi-Stick. This is in the shade Luminous Berry. I love these little blushes. Essence also has blushes in stick form, and Ulta Beauty has the same type of component. Cream blushes are very popular right now, blush sticks in general. And these are very inexpensive. They're pigmented. I love the way they blend out. You don't need any more than that. And then again, I go in with my sponge and just blend everything out. I think I'm going to add a little bit of bronzer just up here on my forehead. Other cream bronzers that I love. The Revolution cream bronzer is so good. I finished one of those last year. And then also this Wet n Wild Mega Glow contour. It's not a contour, it's a bronzer. Also a favorite of mine. All very inexpensive products. And then once I have my cream products on, I do another little spritz. Let that set for a minute. And then go in and press it into the skin. And really that's all you need for your blush and bronzer. I'm a little extra. I like to layer a cream bronzer with a powder bronzer, a cream blush with a powder brush, but it's not necessary, especially if you have more mature skin or dry skin. Before I go in with my powder bronzer and powder blush, I am going to set my under eyes and my T-zone. And I do this with the Maybelline Fit Me. This is the pressed powder in translucent. And I use a brush. Tap it off a little bit. The brush will diffuse the product a little bit more than a puff. I use a puff on my T-zone, but I don't use a puff under my eyes. I don't need that much product. And then I will take my puff. I got these on Amazon. I go in, tap it off on my hand, and just press. Where I need the most setting power. Power, not powder, power. And then my forehead. I love these little puffs. They're so inexpensive. And I haven't been mentioning them at all. The brushes that I've been using for my cream products. Shop Miss A. Shop Miss A brushes are so good. I just repurchased some of these because some of mine are getting a little old. They're like 5 years old, 4.5, 5 years old. And after a while, constant washing, constant cleaning, they do get a little sheddy. They start shedding, but they're still very soft, and it's just the shedding. These actually come together in a set for $2. And this is the F3 and the E3. $2. They're really great brushes. I love them. All of the tools I'm using today are also very affordable. That's what I use most of, and that's what I love. This is the NYX Buttermelt Bronzer. Yes, this has gone viral, and it's gone viral for a reason. This is in the shade 2, all butted up, and I love this bronzer. It gives a slight glow. And this is a Moda brush. Marilyn Monroe, isn't she beautiful? I just put it in the same location as I did my cream bronzer. It's such a pretty finish. I recommend these 100%. Some people don't like them because they do have more of a rosy tone to them. I love that. I have cooler toned skin. I am all about the rosy tone. Another one of my absolute favorite bronzers is the e.l.f. Primer Infused Bronzer in the shade Forever Sunkissed. Forever Sunkissed. I love it. It is such a great bronzer. It is a very nice neutral tone. Not too warm, not cool toned. It's perfect. One of my favorites. NYX also has beautiful buttermelt blushes. I have several shades in this. This one is the shade Butter Together. Now, I'm not using this today, but I wanted to show it to you. Love these. But I'm going to be using the e.l.f. Primer Infused Blush in the shade Always Rosy. This is a holy grail. This is my oldest. I'm trying to use it up this year. I don't think that's going to happen, but I get an E for effort. And I'm going in with another Shop Miss A brush. This is the F13. Yeah, this is the F13. It is a great blush brush. I like the smaller brush on it. And just put that exactly the same spot as I did my cream blush over on this side. Once my bronzer and my blush are done, I do go in with another powder. I go in with a finishing powder. And what this does is it makes everything look very airbrushed. It just buffs everything in and it makes it look seamless. It's just a beautiful finish. This one is in the shade 15 Light. This is a Moda brush that I'm using. Love Moda brushes. Very inexpensive. And just buff everything in. Now, I did go in and add a little bit of powder blush to this side because I do love a blushy look. I want that pigment, which is why I use a cream underneath a powder. I set my cream with my powder products. Now that my basic face is done, I'm going to go in with my eyes. I always use an eyeshadow primer. I think an eyeshadow primer is very important to prevent creasing, to give a nice, seamless canvas to your eyeshadow. I love the Ulta Beauty Matte Veil Primer. Also, a newer purchase for me, and I absolutely love it, is the Morphe. These are the Solo Artist Priming Cream Shadows. They're a dupe for the MAC paint pots. This is in the shade Debut. I love it. I love it. So today I'm going to use the Morphe, and I'm going to use another Shop Miss A brush and go in and I just stipple it on, and then I go in and blend. You don't need a lot. I feel like this is going to last for a long time. Now, I've never used the MAC paint pots, but Leanna, my collab partner here, one of her holy grails is the MAC Painterly paint pot, and she says that this is a perfect dupe, for it. As I said, I've never used the paint pots, and now I don't have to because I will just continue to repurchase this because I love it that much. Because it's tinted, it just covers any imperfections that you might have on your lid, and I think that eyeshadows lay really nice on top of it. Now for my eyeshadow today, I'm going to be using the LA Girl Nudes Warm. This palette comes in several different varieties. It has a warm, it has a cool, it has a natural, and it has a bold. And I think LA Girl eyeshadows are very, very much underrated. This is a great formula. I love this formula. I got this in a giveaway from Donna. And had I not gotten this, I would probably never have reached for this. I would have never bought it. And I'm really happy that I have it because it's such a nice formula. And they're like $9.99 or $9. They're in that ballpark. So I'm going to, I think, go in with this shade right here. And I'm going to put that all over my lid on the outer, middle to outer part of my lid. And you can see how pigmented they are. And they stay nicely. I've worn this several times in the last month, and I really, really like it. I'm really interested in the other color stories that they have, especially the cool. Do I need another cool toned neutral palette? No. There are 12 pans of eyeshadow in this palette. You can do several looks with this palette. I love it. I really do love it. That's another thing about this eyeshadow primer is you don't have to set it down. You can if you want. That was the second phone call I got from work while I was filming. It's Saturday, guys. It's Saturday. I can't actually remember what I was talking about. Oh, as I was saying, you do not have to set this. If you're someone that likes to set your eye primer, you can also do that, but it's not necessary. I go back and forth. Sometimes I set it down, sometimes I don't. I'm going to be using mostly Moda brushes on this look just because I love them so much. Next, I'm going to go into this matte right here. And I'm going to put that in the front part of my lid and just blend those two together. I really like for the inner part of my lid to be lighter. I feel like it brightens up my look. And then I'm just going to take that same shade and blend out that top line a little bit. We're just diffusing that. Make sure it's blended and seamless because we're just doing a basic, neutral, natural eye look. Now you can stop there and just put a shimmer on your lid. I like to have a darker outer corner. I'm going to go in with a Wet n Wild brush. I can't find these anymore, you guys. I can find other Wet n Wild brushes like this, but not this shape on Amazon. I always got them at the Dollar Tree, and the Dollar Tree is not carrying them. At least my Dollar Tree is not. So I need to find them. I found them on Ulta. I can't remember if it was Ulta, but they were more expensive. But $1.25, I'll go in and buy 5 of them. I love that. Even though I'm going to darken up that outer corner, I'm going to keep it a natural look. So I'm going to go in with this brown right here as opposed to a darker brown or black. So I'm just going to go in with that and just deepen up that outer corner just a little bit. And I'm probably going to go back in with that first shade that I used just to make sure everything's nice and blended. I did a look the other day and I did not darken up my outer corner, and I felt like I felt naked. I felt naked. I'm going to go back in with that first shade and just blend that out. This is why I usually do my eyes first, because I did go a little ham down here, so I will have to clean that up a little bit. That's why I love doing my eyes first, because I can go ham as I want to get, and then I can just take a wipe and just take that off of there. That's really pretty. Now, before we go any further, I'm going to do that. I'm going to take my concealer and just edge that up just a little bit. Blend it out with my brush. There, it's like it never happened. All right, we're going to do some shimmer on the lid, but before that, I'm going to use the NYX Glitter Primer. This is a repurchase. I just repurchased this not too long ago, and I really like this glitter primer. I love using a glitter primer. I think it helps with creasing, and it does help the shimmers stay on the lid versus not using it. Sometimes I put it on with a brush, sometimes I put it on with my finger. It just depends on what kind of mood I'm in. I'm going to go in with this shimmer right here, this gold, and I'm just going to use my finger and just set that right on the lid. It's such a pretty shimmer. I do love this palette, you guys. When I watch people on YouTube, I love when they use a palette multiple times. That lets you know that they actually like that palette. I have palettes that I use over and over and over again. That is such a pretty shimmer. It's really pretty. I like it. I'm going to take this small brush. This is also a Shop Miss A brush. And I'm going to go in with this shade right here, this really light shimmer. And I am going to put that in my inner corner up to just the front of my lid. Just give a little bit of fancy there in the inner corner, brighten up your eyes a little bit. Love that. Such pretty shimmers. And then I'm going to go back in with that first shade right there. I like to do this after my shimmers are on and just edge up that lid a little bit. That's just a look that personally I like. And then I'm going in with that lightest matte and diffuse that line a little bit. And that is an easy, neutral, affordable eye look. Yeah. Recommend. Recommend, you guys. Recommend. If you do want something that's smaller, because this is 12 shades. If you want something a little smaller, but still very, very affordable, these little Essence palettes are so good. That's why I still have them. They've made it through so many declutters. I will not get rid of these. That is bronzed this way. This is Nothing Compares to Nudes. I like to mauve it. Something a little cool neutral number, a little purpley. I don't think it's mauve, you guys. It says mauve. It's not mauve to me. To me, it's purple, but no less pretty. This is Dancing Green. That looks like some fall goodness. And then Taupe It Up. They also have a blue, and they also have a rose. And I feel like there's one more that I don't have. Maybe a coral, I think. But yes, I love these. And to me, all of these, you can do a complete look with these. There's a good variety of mattes and a good variety of shimmers. So I think these are $3.99. All of the ones that I got they were buy two, get one free, I think, which made them a lot cheaper. Some of my favorite affordable liners right here. The Sephora. This is the 12-hour color liner. This is in the shade Sangria. And I usually use this when I do like cooler neutral looks or like a mauve or a pink. I use this in I tightline with it. I always tightline with a dark shade. I don't usually put liner above my lashes. I just want it to brighten up my eyes. I want them to be a little bit more dramatic without putting eyeliner on top. I have hooded eyes, and if I put a line of liner on top of my lashes, that takes up some valuable real estate on my eyelids to where you can't see my shimmers. I love my shimmers. Another one that I love, if you love a black liner, is the Revlon Color Stay liner. It does have a smudgy tip thing on the end, and it is a retractable liner. Oh, I thought it was almost gone. Shoo. I really like this one. It does not transfer. None of these transfer onto my waterline. And then this is the NYX liner in the shade Brown Perfection. And this is the one I'm going to be using today. I'm going to sharpen it. Stand by. So the shade Brown Perfection. I think I mentioned that, but I'm going to tightline with this and we'll be back. Can you see the difference that gives between tightlining and not tightlining? It just adds a little bit more definition to your eyes, and I think it brightens it up. I don't usually put a dark liner on the bottom on my waterline because I feel like that makes my eyes look closed and I want them to look open and bright. If you're someone that likes to play in color, you like a lot of color, or you like a pop of color with a neutral, I do recommend the Sephora. Has a really great shade range. Also, the NYX liners have a really good shade range. NYX has a couple of different types. This is the kind that you sharpen, obviously. And then they also have a retractable. I like these pencils better than these. I feel like they're more pigmented, and I feel like they last longer than the retractable liners. So on my waterline, I'm just going to go in with the NYX Jumbo Pencil. This is in the shade Frosting. And I'm going to have to sharpen this one soon as well. And something about this that I really like is it's a shadow stick. So you can use it on your eyes as a shadow. You can use it as a liner. You can also use it as a highlighter. Just kind of draw a little bit and blend it out with your fingers. It does a really good job. Matter of fact, I'll do that. On this side, I'll do that. And then on this side, I'll use my regular highlighter that I was going to use. But I'm going to use this in my waterline. And while on camera, you can't really tell that I have anything in my waterline. In real life, there's just a little bit of shimmer there. And it just kind of brightens you up a little bit. Now, before I go any further with my eye look, I'm going to do my brows because I like them to dry down a little bit before I go in with my color. And this is the LA Girl Brow Perfect. This also came in the giveaway from Donna, and I'm so happy that it did because I have repurchased this. This is almost gone, and I have already repurchased it because I like it. I think it's more of a wax than an actual brow gel, but it makes my brows stay in place, and I really, really like it. And while we're talking about brows, I don't usually use a brow pencil. I'll use a clear brow gel, and then I use eyeshadow for my eyebrows. But I have been using this pencil lately because I kind of want to use up my eyebrow products. They're just sitting there, and I have been using this sometimes, and I really like it. I think that the tip is small enough to get a nice little bit of precision. It's not going to give you those brush strokes, those little eyebrow hair strokes, but it is going to do a good job of filling in your brows or darkening them up or whatever you like to do with your brows. I do like this, and it comes with a spoolie on this end. Yes, I like it. So that has been in my everyday stash drawer because I want to use more of it. I'm going in with some mascara. Holy Grail mascara, Drugstore mascara, is the Maybelline Lash Stiletto, my absolute favorite drugstore mascara. This is an empty. I had to dig it out of my empties for you. I have not repurchased. I want to get through some of my mascaras before I purchase more. Otherwise, it's just a waste of money. But I wanted to mention this because it is a holy grail. But two of the other ones that I love so much is the Maybelline Sky High. This is a repurchase. I have used one of these in the past, and I love the brush on it. It is a small brush. First, let me show you the brush on the Lash Stiletto. I love this brush. It's a natural bristle brush. It's very thin, skinny, and it's really good for getting down on the roots, to the roots of the lashes. And I can say the same about this. This also is really good about getting to the roots of my lashes. So I'm going to do a coat of this on this side so that you can see the difference. So this is the difference with just one coat. So I usually do 2 coats of this, and then I do 2 coats with something that's a little bit more volumizing. I like to layer my mascara. This is 2 coats of that. You could just leave it as is and just go about your business. I like to layer. Like I said, I like to layer. This is the Essence Lash Princess, and I love the wand on this. I think it's very volumizing. Love this mascara. Will continue to repurchase this. I usually wait till Black Friday. They usually have them $3.99, and I buy 3 of them. Usually I end up throughout the year giving one to my daughter, but I keep the other 2. It almost gets me through the year till the next Black Friday, but they also run sales throughout the year, and they're not expensive to begin with. They're only $4.99. I think it's a great deal for a really great mascara. Now I'm going to finish up my brows, and I'm going to use, I'm going to use this shade right here, I think. Or do I want to use this shade? I'm going to use one of these 2 shades. I think I'm going to use this shade right here for my brows. I always do my brows with eyeshadow unless I'm using that eyebrow pencil. And I just fill them in. I do have to look in my mirror down here to do this. Oh, that's a good shade. It's a good shade for my brows. I usually just use a brown single shadow I have in my little everyday palette. My everyday palette holds a couple of lid setting shades, my brow shade, or even some eyeshadows that have huge pans in them that I want to finish up. I put them in there to remind myself that they're there, and then I will use them in whatever look I have. Usually it's a lid setting shade or something that's more of a transition, a neutral transition that I could use with a lot of different things. Now my eyebrows, for whatever reason, they're very sparse in the fronts of my brows. So that's another reason why I use the eyeshadow, is because I feel like it gives a little bit more pigment, but it can also be sheared out a little bit so it's not so stark and it's not so dang dramatic, because I just want my brows to look natural. I had another lip liner pulled out to use today, but it was a mauve because I was trying to decide between a couple different palettes that I was going to use. So I'm not going to use that, but I am going to show you because these are my holy grail liners. These are the Maybelline Color Sensational Shaping Liners. There's not a huge color range, but there's enough of a color range. And I have several of these. I will always repurchase these. I feel, especially for a mature lip, I do have lines in my lips. This does not feather. It's such a great lip liner. Another brand of lip liners that I really like is ColourPop. The ColourPop Lippy Pencils. And this is in the shade BFF2. I have 3 of the BFFs. I have regular BFF. Is it this one? Yeah, regular BFF. And then Cool BFF is a little bit more taupey. Yeah, they all are broken down inside, I don't care. I still repurchase them. I still repurchase them because they're that good. So I'm going to use the BFF2. It is a little bit darker, a little bit warmer than the other two BFFs. My lips are now lined. If I'm pressed for time, I will just fill in the whole lip with the lip liner and then just use a lip oil over top of it. Some of my favorite lip oils lately are the e.l.f. Glow Reviver lip oils. So inexpensive and so beautiful. And these are the shimmery ones. And I have 4 shades. I have Princess Cut. I have Candy Coated, which is a little bit more of a pinky. This is Crystal Baller. And then I have a very cool one. It's called Opology Tour. It's Opology Tour. And it is so pretty. It really reminds me of some of the purpley type lip oils that are out right now. I think Fenty has one that's out right now. There's multiple brands that are coming out with a purpley lip oil. But because I have such a warm look, I'm going to finish lining my lip. I'm going to finish filling in my lips with my liner. And then I'm going to be using Crystal Baller because that's my favorite. So that is them all filled in. And then I go in with the lip oil. It's so beautiful. If you've been here for a while, you know I'm not a gloss girl. But I do love a shimmery, glossy lip. And so the lip oils have been perfect for me because I do love the feeling of a lip oil as opposed to a gloss. And it's so pretty. It just gives that little bit of shimmer. I do want to mention a couple of lipsticks that I have really been loving lately, and those are the Maybelline Color Sensational Bullet Lipsticks. You cannot get these on Ulta, but you can get them in drugstores. They have them at Walmart, they have them at Target, they have them a lot of different places. And the one I use the most is 144, and it's called Naked Dare. And you can see it is just it's a shimmery lipstick because I'm in my frosty lipstick era. So I love that. And then one that's just a little bit different than that is called Warm Me Up. It's a little darker. And that is $2.35, Warm Me Up. Another one that I use quite often is 015, and it's called Born With It. And it has a little bit of pinkiness to it. It's so pretty. And these two, the 144 layered with this, is beautiful. It's a really pretty neutral shimmery lip. And then lastly, we're going to do some highlighter. As I mentioned before, the NYX Jumbo Pencil can be used for so many different things. And so I'm going to just draw it on my nose and blend it out with my finger. And then blend it out with my finger. It just gives a little bit of shimmer. And then also brow bone highlight. I usually put highlighter on my brow bone when I wear highlighter. And it just gives a little bit of fancy there. But a powder highlighter that I love is the Essence Pure Nude. This is in the shade Be My Sunlight. They also have one, Be My Highlight, that is a little bit lighter, but for summer, this is my perfect highlighter shade. And I love this because it's very understated. It just gives you a little bit of gleam without looking like a disco ball. I am not in my disco ball era anymore. Well, with my lips I am, but not with my face. And it's just really natural, a really natural glow, and I love it. And this is going to last me my whole life. So what is in your everyday makeup bag? Products that you can't live without? Tell me down below. Let's start a conversation. Thank you, Leanna, for another fun collab. You guys, don't forget to go check out Leanna's video. I will have it linked down below. See what products she recommends for your affordable basic makeup bag. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you being here. And until our next adventure, everyone have a great day, and we'll see you later.